How's everybody doing? My name is Mark Wills, and I'm so excited to be on here because every single Monday I come on live to help notary signing agents build their businesses for free. Free coaching from me to you, whether you're a loan signing system student or not. I'm happy to be here right now. So let's get today started. Dee Dee, what up, girl? Looking
Hi.
beautiful per the usual. Talk to me a lot. First off, how is everything? How is the other half? Everyone's family's good?
Everyone's doing amazing.
Good,
So,
good, good.
yeah.
So let's talk about your business. Where are we at?
Okay. So I think it was last week I joined on for a little bit. I was able to, and you talked a little bit about mental health. So I have two questions for you. Well,
Yeah.
one's going to be, I'm going to ask you for some words of encouragement. Two, um, you as business owners and as entrepreneurs, we all go through rough patches, right? So I'm going through one. In those moments, when you have your down moments, when you're just not as confident, I'm very confident. At least I like to think so. But I have my days, right? How did you get yourself through those moments? Because
Yeah.
I mean, when you share your story, I'm just like, I don't know how you made it, Mark, but you made it, right?
Yeah.
All
Oh, I
those
love it.
times. Um,
Well, can I answer that question?
yeah,
Yeah, I think the first moment is, I think low moments stink because for some reason we're not expecting low moments. It's like there's an expectation that every moment should be high. So what I personally do is when I have a lull or a down moment is I don't give it more weight than it just is what it is. A lot of us get low moments and it's like the world's ending when I'm like, did you never expect to have low moments? And talking about life, like my marriage, I mean, I love my wife more than the world, but I'm not naive that we're gonna get in arguments. I'm not naive that there's gonna be some rough patches. But I think when it comes to business and maybe even some life moments, is with this expectation that nothing's ever going to go wrong. And so to answer your question, when I have a low moment, I don't give it more weight than it just is what it is. Does that kind of make sense? Like,
yeah,
so when something stinks, I'm like, okay, I don't have an expectation that I should never not experience this. So that's the first thing that I do. I don't give it as much weight as most people do. It is okay. So once I'm in, there's two things I do when I'm experiencing a low moment. The first thing I do is, how do I get out of it? Okay. And so I'm thinking, how did I get here and what can I do to get out? And I start making those action moments to get out of it. But here's the second thing, which I think is more hopefully inspiring, is I'm not afraid of the low moments. And what I mean by that is I'm not afraid to process them. Like I realize that feelings are short term. What we do around that could be long term damaging. So it's like, look, I just sit and I kind of just have the feeling come in. I process it. I call it standing on a surfboard. I just kind of ride the wave. And I know in my heart this wave's going to end. And so because I know in my heart the wave's going to end, I don't give the weight more gravity than it is. So I don't try to avoid it. I almost lean into it. Oh, what am I feeling? Let me sit with this. And so by sitting with it and processing it, it allows me actually to move through it quicker. I think the problem that most people have is they try to avoid sitting with it and then it prolongs it. But your body's amazing. Like we can process so much, but it's allowing ourselves to process it. It's like we get an icky feeling, and the first thing we do is how do we get rid of it? First is like, oh, what am I feeling? Are my hands sweating? Is my heart racing? What are my emotions? And so what I've done with it over the years is I go, okay, cool. I just sit with it and I let it do its thing and I let it ride. And I feel like I'm able to get through my low moments because I'm not trying to do everything to get rid of that feeling. Does that coaching make sense? Like I do
I know.
everything I can just to feel it. I let it do its natural thing. I ride the wave, knowing the wave's gonna go. So I I process it and then I let it go. But I think a lot of times we don't do the processing and it drags it out longer than it should be. And so that's your answer to what I do is I process it, I ride the wave, and then I let it go. And because of that, it allows me to give it less weight. I know that feelings aren't forever. And I think a lot of times that when we feel it, we feel like we're going to feel this for longer than we do. And that mindset makes us feel longer than it should.
Right.
And so, like I got through so much mental health and so much mental like trauma from my childhood. But I've learned a long time ago that I try to give moments less gravity. I'm not unaware that there's going to be waves of feelings. There's going to be waves of emotions. So I think sometimes when you have a feeling, you're like, oh, why me? And part of me is just like, all right, it's here. What do we do? So the first thing I do is process it. The next thing I do is I figure out how do I kind of move to the next? How do I get myself out? So I'm also being proactive at the same time as processing. So it's not one or the other. Did that help at all?
That did. No, that did. I'm a very spiritually grounded person,
Hmm.
so my thing is just going back to my spiritual roots and
Yeah,
sticking to that, and that's very helpful. But at the same time, I'm still a human. I'm a
yeah,
person, and
yeah.
I like what you said. I think what sometimes I do is that I run through it real quickly
Yes,
and not process it.
yes.
And that's
Mm,
probably where I need to slow down and
yeah,
process it. And I usually don't like to talk about my stuff. Like
yeah,
even doing this on social media, it's a
yeah.
big deal. But when I was driving and I was thinking, I'm like, if I'm going through this, there's so many other people that are going through this, and
Yes,
there's nothing wrong to talk about it
yes,
out loud, I guess. So
yes.
yes, in a way, you are being a therapist today.
Well, look, I'm not naive that business is just a reflection of life. And I think a lot of people get into business not realizing it literally correlates with the up and downs of life. As you know, as well as I do, is that every notary expects business to always grow. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not life. Like, there's going to be good months and bad months. And if you're in business long enough, there'll be good years and bad years. And so I'm able to process because I'm kind of emotionally mature enough to understand that business matches life. And so if you have a bad week, your business is not going under. If you have a bad month, your business is not going under. If you have a bad year, your business isn't going under. It's just realizing we got to ride the wave. And so I'm going to end with this, D. Is I'm a big believer that events or memories can either be an asset or liability. It is what we choose. Does this event or memory serve me to be better, or does this event or memory serve me to be less than? And so I choose to look at things like, let me say something I don't know if I've said that often, but if I had the childhood that I dreamed of, I wouldn't be the man that I am.
Yeah.
Like, sit on that for a moment. So the reason I say that is sometimes I believe life happens for us and not to us. Like, do I wish I would have had it different 100%? But if I have it different, I wouldn't be where I am. And I don't think we give ourselves enough credit for that. Like, our past makes who we are. So that memory could be a liability or an asset. I choose to make my childhood an asset. I choose. Because I understand that if I had the childhood I dream of, I wouldn't be on this live with you, helping you through what you're going through. And I know you guys have another business, and it's the same thing. Is like, you guys, everything we do has led us to where we are, and we can either choose to believe that, or we can choose to use it as a liability and complain about it. And so like I said, I mean, I look back at my childhood and it sucked, period. But I wouldn't be who I am if it didn't. And so therefore I'm using that memory as an asset. I'm using that moment as something that helps me and not something that hinders me. So I'm not sure if any of that helped or made sense, but I just felt compelled because this moment is amazing. You're amazing.
No,
Um,
it does. It does. Without saying too much, I moved to a new place, and so
mhm,
I'm just on my way to market to some of the tile areas
yeah,
here. And it's like rebuilding again, and I don't know, just finding that confidence and that determination to keep that drive going.
mhm,
And like I said, I'm pretty confident. I love what I do. I love
yeah,
being able to run my signing service to provide signings for the notaries out there, especially for the LSS community. But sometimes, you just find yourself in that like that low moment, and it's
yeah,
more personal stuff.
yeah,
Gary can I find, but I try to find it to not have it with him too, like because he's going through it too, so it's like, how do I help keep each other going through this moment? So I think I was just being very vulnerable today, so I appreciate your every
oh,
word you said.
girl, I appreciate. I'm gonna start crying. Like, I mean, what I love about you, D, is you wear your emotions on your sleeve, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't think enough people do that actually. I try to also mimic that, right? Because it helps people realize they're not alone. And so my point of saying all that is going into these new appointments that you're trying to remark or market to, like, don't be afraid to wear your emotions on your sleeve. Like, if you're nervous, it's okay to come off as nervous. If you're like, I mean, like, I think a lot of us feel like we got to put on this face when we market, when all people want is authenticity. What I love about you is you're not allowing this moment to deter you from what you got to do. And that's the sign and characteristic of a successful person, because we can all create excuses, but you are creating reasons. And so even though you're down, you're still choosing to move forward. And that is the most important part of life and building a business, because life is business, business is life. And to think they're any different or they're mutually exclusive is not being an emotionally mature business owner. And you are. So D, I got you whenever you need it. Okay. So keep doing what you're doing
Yeah.
and keep sharing with everybody. So I'm proud of you. Okay.
Thank you. Thank
All
you,
right.
Mark.
All right. You're welcome.
Bye.
Wow. That was a beautiful moment with Dee Dee. And I hope that this helps you realize that you're not alone. Life mimics business, business mimics life. The reason some of you get so frustrated is there's an expectation that your business should have zero down moments. Like, really? Like, that's like saying your life should have zero down moments. But we don't quit life when we have down moments. But some of you quit your business because you have down moments. If you deal with your business or your life in the same fashion, your business will grow just like your life grows. Like, your life is better now than it was 10 years ago because you keep moving forward. So some of you guys have this expectation that, you shouldn't have down moments in your business. No, if you're in business long enough, like I shared with Dee Dee, you're gonna have down years. I've had down years. There's me sometimes, if you've been in business long enough, you're gonna have down decades. But because you have down decades doesn't mean you throw in the towel. But your job is this, and hear me clearly. Your job is not to turn a bad minute into a bad hour. Your job is not to turn a bad hour into a bad half a day. Your job is not to turn a bad half a day into a bad day. Your job is not to turn a bad day into a bad week. Your job is not to turn a bad week into a bad month. I don't have bad days. I have bad hours, but I don't have bad days because I choose not to have bad days. It is a decision what you do with the moment. So keep pushing, keep growing, and keep glowing. You are so amazing. You have no idea. And it's my job to make sure you realize how amazing you are. So right now, if you have every reason to quit and you're not quitting, keep going, man. Because it's not you that needs this business to work. It's everyone around you needs this business to work. So I am so proud of you for being on this live. I'm so proud of you for watching this replay. So keep doing what you're doing and don't stop. And let's go! What's up, girl? How are you?
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good. Always good to see you. I know your name. Tell me your name and where you're from.
I am Erica Jorgensen. I'm from South Florida. I wanted to tell you that I was the one that Melina invited as a guest speaker for the Saturday
Yes.
meetup. And I just wanted to tell you thank you because I followed everything in the course. I started in July and it has been amazing. Everything you said happened exactly how you said it. I've worked with signing services in the past few months. I've done over 80 signings. I 98% of my signings have been error free, and I feel so confident to go direct now.
Oh, I am so proud of you. I mean, look, I'm just the coach. The players make the plays. You executed. You follow the system. You trust the system. And you did everything that was in the course. So from bottom of my heart, I am so proud of you. It's now to get massive goals for 2024. So speaking of which, I want to start having a little bit of a theme before the end of the year. What are some goals you have for 2024? And more importantly, as you answer that, what are some things you're going to do to go achieve those goals? So what's our goal for 2024? And let's talk about how we're going to get there.
Okay, well, my goal is to obviously go as much as direct as possible. I still want to continue to work with signing services, especially with the closing signing service and all the good ones out there. But obviously, my goal is to go as much as I can direct.
Let's go direct in 2024. Let's go. Let me ask you this. How come we've not gone direct yet? You've done 80 closings, basically error free. You were probably ready to go direct after signing number 5 or 10. So I want to really help you overcome that hurdle. So I'm going to answer your question, but I want to take some time right now to ask, why haven't you gone direct? What is the mental hurdle that I need to help you overcome? So let's be honest with each other because I want to help you. Why haven't you gone direct yet? And what's really holding that back?
Well, the reason is because I got so happy and excited that I was rolling.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to decline signings. I was trying to take everything that came through my phone. I was taking, and then I realized that I wasn't giving myself the time to decline signings to go direct.
That's beautiful. So what you were looking for was short-term gratification in lieu of long-term gains. So I want to make sure you hear yourself say that, because first off, I love the self-awareness that you just had in your own journey. But you're tripping over pennies in spite of the dollars. Because girl, you were ready to go direct. I always tell you it's not about signing services versus direct. It's about using as much momentum to get to your direct business. And look, you said it correctly. There's times where you got to take 2 steps forward, 2 steps backwards, or 4 steps forward. But here's what I'm going to challenge you, okay? I'm going to challenge you while you're self-aware in that amazing statement. I still would argue that you have time over the weekends to go build your business direct to, going to open houses, going to networking events. So my communication as your coach is the reason you hired me was to show you some of your blind spots. So while I do believe what you said is true, there's a little party that's probably still nervous. And what my coaching is in order to get past that nerves is remembering that successful people do it scared. Okay. Yes, what you said was true, but there are moments on weekends that you're sitting at home doing nothing, no signings that you could be marketing. And so what that tells me as your coach is part of you being held back a little bit is this lack of belief in yourself. But girl, you are ready for the big leagues. Okay. You are ready. Say, I am ready.
I am ready. I am
Let's
more
go.
than ready now.
That's what I'm saying. But man, you were more than ready 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago. Okay. So my coaching is you're going to have moments where you're making these excuses and not creating reasons. Yes, I do love how you're taking signings service business, but there are times on a Saturday that you can go meet 2 open houses if you really chose to. And so what that tells me is a little bit of limiting beliefs, and that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, is you are ready for the next step. Okay. You are ready for the next step. Here's my 2 cents is you're letting down the local community where you live by not letting people know that you're amazing. Does that make sense? Like you're letting them down. And when you feel that in your heart, now you're like, okay, I'm in. I'm going to go tell everybody that I'm a notary. So I want you to get to the point in your business where you're like, look, I'm letting down the local realtors, lenders, and escrow officers that I've not marketed to them. Because my belief is I'm letting down notaries who don't know I exist. Like that's what drives me, right? I feel this real sense of like, I'm letting people down if I don't tell them because I know in my heart how much I can help them. So I'm telling you to start doing the same thing. You have a job to start building your own path, your own journey. Okay. And that starts with believing that you're deserving and worthy of the next spot. All right. So I want you this weekend at the minimum to start marketing. Like, look, right now, me and you are talking, you could be marketing. So it's a little bit true that you're not setting time aside, but I would argue the bigger thing is you're a little scared, which is normal, but I want you to identify that you're scared because what you can identify, you can change. Okay. What we don't identify, we can't change. So I want you to identify a little bit like, look, Mark, I'm nervous. I'm scared. That's awesome because that means you're growing. That means you're ready for the next step. Because if we're always comfortable and never growing, here's a saying that I love. If you're not growing, you're dying. There's no such thing as being in the middle. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. Does that make sense?
I agree.
Okay.
Completely
So
agree.
my point is like, girl, you're ready for the next stop. Today, right when we get off this live, like go out, start telling people, I love Melanie, I love Calvin, I love Dylan, I love all the signing service owners. But it's time for you to start forging your own path and get inspired by Melina, get inspired by Calvin, get inspired by Dylan. Okay? It's time to go. Are we ready with this?
Oh, I'm ready. Trust
All
me.
right,
I
let's
will do that.
go. I hope
Thank you.
everybody heard that because what's tough to say, and I appreciate you being so vulnerable on this live, is that you're a little bit nervous. You're a little bit scared about that next step. And so my coaching to you is, A, that's normal. It's actually weird when I get students who aren't scared. I'm like, are you really prepared? Right? And so I love that you're a little nervous. So lean into it. We get nervous when we walk the other way. We should get nervous and be like, wow, that feeling means I'm going in the right direction. Okay? So let's stop saying, oh, it's because I don't have enough time. You have enough time. It's time you're leaning into that. Okay? All right. I love it.
And my question is, since I've been working with signing services in the past 4 or 5 months, I haven't been able to keep track of all the title companies that I have been that I've done signings for through
Mhm.
the signing service, and some of the signing services that I've been working with are local. What happens if in my path of marketing, I end up at a title company that I might have done a signing for through one of the signing services?
Good
How can I
question.
best manage that?
Good question. So here's my 2 cents. As long as you do not leverage a signing from a signing service to introduce yourself to someone going to any title company. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Don't leverage. To me, that is, I don't speak about ethics. I speak about business coaching. If a signing service finds out you're leveraging one of their signings
Right.
for
Mm-hmm.
marketing, you're going to get a bad remark. But if you're not, you're okay. Does that make sense? So don't worry about it. Now, number two, here's what I tell people. Here's how you can leverage closings from a signing service. When you walk in, drop off a signing on the behalf of somebody. Be like, oh my gosh, it was such an honor to work for this signing service. Next time you have a signing in my area, can you please have the signing service owner request me on that closing? That's normal. In fact, the signing service owner will love you. But if you're not using the signing itself to leverage a conversation, then you're good to go. Does
So
that
if I
coaching make
happen
sense?
to end up at a title company that I might have done a signing for 3-4 months ago, it's okay.
Yes, yes. As long as you're not using a signing to leverage that conversation.
Exactly. Yeah,
Is
I don't
that,
want to do that. I love the signing services
yes,
that I've been working
yeah,
with. I love them to death.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And the last thing I want to do, and
yeah,
I think that was the part that was keeping me a little
yeah,
nervous on ending up at an office that I might
yeah,
have done a signing
yeah,
for, and I don't remember I
yeah.
did.
Yeah, no, again, I believe that the authentic way of building a business is making sure you don't leverage a closing for a conversation. But that
Right.
title company should not be hands off to you 3 months from now because you did a signing 3 months ago. But don't ever use that signing to leverage to a conversation. Then you're going to be
Right.
in the clear. Okay. I'm going to end with
Exactly.
this. It's time to forge your own trail.
Yes, you're
Okay.
right. I love you. I love the course. I love the loan signing system. It's changed my life. I tested it. It works. I trust it 100%.
Well, I love you and I want you to grow a huge business. Be inspired by Melina. Be inspired by all the amazing women of loan signing system. Irene Ruda is an unbelievable inspiration. Taffy Wagner, Laura Jones, Kelly Hill. There's so many amazing students we have. So keep doing what you're doing. Let's let go of those limiting beliefs. And remember, when you're nervous, that means you're growing. When you're scared, you're actually doing something good. So 2024 is the year of Erica. Okay.
Yes.
That's what it's the year of you. So go all in, start today, start marketing. Let's build a business. Let's go.
Let's
All
go.
right. I'm excited for you. Oh my
Thank you,
gosh. What
Mark.
you're so welcome. What a great conversation. A couple things I want to say on that point is remember, we feel like we're nervous and we usually identify that as a negative feeling. When I get nervous, I identify that as a positive feeling. Let me say that one more time. When you're nervous, we have to recondition how we think when we receive that feeling. When I'm nervous, I'm like, yes, I'm doing something right. When you're nervous, you go, oh, I'm doing something wrong. Let's switch that paradigm. Nerves means you're growing. Scared means you're out of your comfort zone. When does when is that a bad thing? I see it as a good thing. So we can start reassociation, a different feeling out, a different reaction once we get that feeling. And then I think everything changes. Remember, we want to fail forward, fail fast, do it scared. Let's go! How's everybody doing? My name is Mark Will. So glad that I'm here. I got time for one more. What up, brother?
Yo, Mark, what's
Dude,
happening?
first off, how have you been, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good to see you. I see you in every training. Tell everybody your name, where you're from, and let's have a conversation.
Cool, man. My name's Patrick. I'm in Los Angeles. I've been, well, here's where I'm at, just kind of looking for some guidance. I'm kind of in between the last two calls, so it works out.
Okay.
And Dee's conversation spoke to me. So
Mm.
I've been semi-part-time for about 3 years, actually. So
Okay.
I've got 5 directs, 3 that kind of use me a lot, but it's slower anyway, which I know is an excuse for sure. So where I'm at now is I'm kind of like, it's time for me to amp up. stop making excuses, try to make, whenever I see these calls and, you know, this person's now make 150 and they started right around the time I did, I'm like, Jesus. So that's where I'm at. But my little guidance is, besides just overcoming, you know, just keeping myself going out there, I want to kind of know the next level. So like, is signing service my next level? I've kind of told myself I want to start hitting 10K a month before I even start thinking about that as a reality, just to hit those goals. But then what am I going to? Is that what I'm going to? And then I have some, not to get too personal, but I may relocate, or there's ideas of relocating. Well, then I'll have to start everything over again if I already started a signing service.
Yeah, you're my last call today, so let's break it down. So first off, I appreciate your vulnerability. I think the entire community does, so thank you. I mean, again, we go through ups and downs, and it's naive to think we're not going to have them. And so I love that you just keep pushing forward. So just make sure I give you your flowers on that. So there's a couple things that I heard here. Is your job, and whether you own a signing service or not, is just keep telling people you're open for business. You have 3 directs, like we got to turn it into 6. And the way you do that is just what you already said, getting over those limiting beliefs and just going out and doing. So that's number 1, because that leads to number 2. What if you have an idea that you may be relocating? I'd actually tell you probably start your signing service now.
You will.
Remember, you don't need to start a signing service with 10 clients. You can start a signing service with 1. Okay? So if you move, you can still generate income. Now remember this. A lot of people think that a signing service is for like overflow business. It's not. You want to get all of your clients. You have 3 directs who said you use you regularly.
Yes.
My guess is 50% of their business is outside of Los Angeles. You should be getting that revenue. See, too many times signing agents go, well, there's really not enough overflow business because it's slower. Well, you don't realize that half their business is not even in LA. It's in San Diego, it's in Las Vegas, it's in San Francisco. So there's somebody creating revenue on the business where they're hiring signing services that are outside of LA County. Did that land?
Okay.
So sometimes with Mark, well, why would I start a signing service? They don't have enough business to give me locally. Well, you're missing the boat. It's not about the extra local business. It's about the signing service business that's out of Los Angeles that they're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you relocate, you're still doing their out of LA business because you created relationships. Is all this landing for you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Could they still even give me the LA business, and I would just find
that you could 100%.
Okay.
100% they could, but I kind of want to get your mind outside of just bigger than just LA business is what I'm trying to coach you on.
For sure,
right?
yeah, that's what
outside that. So the 3 clients you have, my guess is you can make an extra $3 to $4 grand a month in take home profit just servicing their out of LA business.
Should I go to them and ask them if they do?
Yes.
Obviously, I guess that's the
Yes, that is a hard yes. Now, I have a signing service course that can walk you through the entire thing that every signing service owner has in LSS. But so I usually wouldn't tell you to do that, but you told me that you may relocate, and I don't want you losing that business. Okay, so I usually wouldn't give this advice, but because you told me you're relocating, I got to adapt to your situation. So I would start a signing service sooner than later because there may be a chance of you relocating. You don't want to miss that business because the $3 to $4 grand that you could be making on the out of county business could help you in your new relocation.
Right.
Let's call it $2 grand. Let's not even call it $4 grand. If you're making $2 grand a month when you relocate, now you don't feel the pressure because you're not starting with 0 income. Does that make sense? So, because people can always tell when you're marketing from desperation than when you're marketing to help. And so if you walk into a new market with 0 money, you're going to be a little more desperate than you are if you have some money coming in. So that is what I'm trying to help you with. So, but I'm going to end with this, dude. Now until you leave, you should be marketing because these are people that could be feeding your signing service when you leave. Number 2, you're going to get more direct business. So you're going to have a dual-pronged motivation to go market direct is because you can be building an SS business and getting more business for yourself locally.
So, all right, because I almost feel like I shouldn't be marketing as much sometimes, but no, that's just my own fears, I'm sure.
Well, your own fears and a little bit lack of education, but that's why you jumped on here. And so the lack of education is realizing those people can feed you their out-of-county business.
Right.
That's the coaching here. A lot of people go, well, Mark, why would I go market a signing service when there's no overflow business for me? And I'm like, well, you're missing the boat. It's not about the overflow business. It's about the business they're doing in Las Vegas that you need to be doing. It's about the business that they're doing in San Francisco. Because remember, a Los Angeles loan officer can slang loans anywhere in the country.
Right.
Does that make sense? So remembering that, like, And your LA client could be doing an LA loan officer who specializes in Phoenix business, but they're opening up the escrow in LA. You want that business.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
total sense.
I would tell you double down your marketing for the obvious reason of just creating income, but the non-obvious answer, like it could be feeding your signing service, which can feed you business when you relocate. And now you're not starting from zero. You have like $2,000 or $3,000 a month in income coming from your signing service. Now you're rebuilding relationships, and now you have a multi-state or multi-area signing service. You're off to the races, dude.
And that's good.
Makes
So it
sense?
actually can be beneficial. These challenges can be beneficial in the long run. Gotcha.
That's my point. That's why I told Didi, your job's to look at events as assets or liabilities. To me, this is a total asset because it might get you in gear a little bit more. And it's like something that you could have been doing anyways. And so this moment, I think, is good for your business, man. So
Cool.
appreciate you, dude. Happy holidays. And I'm here if you need anything, brother.
You too. You're the best, Mark.
You are too, man. I hope everybody heard that conversation with Patrick. Like, look, your signing service could be servicing one client. You don't need to have like 18 clients. So I hope everyone has that. I love the light bulb going on from Ms. Priority. My name is Mark Wales. If you're not a loan signing system community member, why not click the link in my bio? I got to run. I got a meeting that I cannot miss because I'm trying to help and serve you. But with that being said, I believe in you so much. I said every single time I jump on one of these, why do I believe in you? Because it's so hard to be an entrepreneur. It's so hard to make the decision, and you're doing it. You're swimming upstream, which makes you amazing. Don't ever forget it. I don't forget it. So I say I believe in you. That is the truth. But I cannot believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Let's go! Bye, everybody. Happy holidays, and I'll see you next Monday.